Hello and welcome to Quality Champions. I'm Manisha Gupta. Well, gold has had a good first quarter with the global demand surging by 3% on a year-on-year basis. This marks the strongest first quarter for the precious metal since 2016. The prices during the period hit a record average of $2,070 and an all-time high of $2,400 an ounce. In the month of April, gold prices have recorded their third monthly gain. In India also, demand rose by 8% during Jan to March period. However, the World Gold Council estimates that the price rally could cut India's total consumption to a four-year low in 2024. What does that really mean? And to discuss the outlook on gold, jewelry buying, and especially when we are heading into the India festival season, I am now joined by Teodora Nusca, who's co-founder at Bassano Gioielli, a leading wholesale jewelry company in South Africa. Teodora, hi, thank you so much for joining us. At a time when the gold prices are almost at an all-time highs, how do you look at the prices and the demand going forward?
Well, it is being affected, and the demand is lowered because of the higher prices. So it makes it a bit challenging for us in our business.
Teodora, also, what kind, you're in India and you're from South Africa and you're looking at designs in India. So what is the Indian designs that you're looking for? What is in trend right now?
Indian designs are mostly bracelets. We are personally looking at a medium to low bracket of simple designs, as this is our target market. So we are looking at what our customer base is able to, or our target market affords. So it's the middle to lower, simple designs in gold and in other metals.
Okay, and there have been various innovations in the past few years. The market really seems to be improving. It's not just people in their 30s and 40s that are buying jewelry, but also in their 20s are also making bigger spends here. Would you say trends are changing and that there's more innovation now within the space?
Well, trends are certainly changing from the higher cost items to satisfy that lower market, that younger and upcoming market. So the trends are lowering, and they're looking at options, including the lab grown, which become more affordable for them, and the colored stones.
Well, that's about the age part of it, but how would you describe the African jewelry market right now, and what do you see as trends there?
Our particular market, and I talk only of our region, which is South Africa, the demand is rather slow in the sense of gold and precious stones. It's slow and hopefully will increase and improve.
Okay, not very great demand right now, but as you said, you are anticipating it to improve going forward. Well, geopolitically, globally rather, people are buying gold as safe haven. Do you see that trend picking up in Africa?
Yes and no. Yes and no. With time, I think it's a global phenomenon. There's a lot of uncertainty, and so that reflects also, and it's a reflection also of the instability in all the world, not only in the diamond and the jewelry market.
Teodora, a final question then. Apart from India, where does Africa buy its jewelry from? I mean, what other markets are you scouting?
In Dubai. Predominantly Dubai, some European, but those are our principal other options.
All right. Teodora, thank you so much for joining us. Well, that's the view coming in from South Africa on what they are looking at for the Indian markets and the trends, of course, in their own country there. I am now joined by Jill Borgerding of Jillian Samuels Jewelry, which specializes in lab-grown diamond jewelry in the United States. Jill, hi, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we've just had a sense on what Africa is looking at, but when it comes to US, what is your sense, first of all, on the surging gold prices?
Yes, gold prices are at an all-time high. So right now, where I live in the United States, I'm in the Midwest, and because gold prices are so high, we're seeing more of an influx of sterling silver pieces being sold just because gold has been so high.
Okay. You're also looking at lab-growns is what you told me before we started talking. So that's a trend that really seems to be picking up in the international markets, especially in US. How are you looking at these trends?
Yes, very much so. Lab-grown diamonds are really picking up speed, especially engagement rings in the United States. Where I live, it's not a lot of fashion jewelry yet. We're trying to really start to bring that into the forefront in fashion jewelry. Bridal, we've been selling center lab-grown diamonds in engagement rings for quite some time, for a few years now. But now we're finally starting to see some transitions into more of the fine jewelry, studs, diamond tennis bracelets, solitaire pendants, and pieces like that. So we're starting to see an influx of that.
Jillian, what is the deciding factor right now when someone comes to buy jewelry? Is it the design, the price, the weight, the caratage? What really does work?
I honestly believe that it is a combination of design and price. I work with a lot of the younger generation, and for them, they prefer experiences over things. And so we're seeing a lot more lab-grown diamonds in the younger generations. Because then they can still get the design that they're looking for. They can still get it in gold, especially with gold being so high, but then they're also getting exactly what it is that they want.
So the numbers really haven't been great last few quarters due to price volatility. Are we looking at a slowdown across globe? How would you look at the demand in the US right now?
I think that it's been fairly steady. I think the more and more people start to realize that lab-grown diamonds are here to stay, I don't see it declining in demand anytime soon.
Do Indian margins work for you? Also, what has been the experience like for you since you're in India?
I do feel like the prices over here in India, they're very, very, very competitive, which is why I came over here. This is my second trip to India. I was here last fall with the organization, and that's when I discovered just how easy it is to work with the Indian manufacturers here and get the products over to the United States. Before, I had no idea. So this time I'm on a completely different trajectory as far as what I'm looking at purchasing. But I find that it was so easy to work with them, and I love India. I think it's beautiful here, and I've had nothing but a positive experience.
All right, Jillian, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much for joining in. And moving on, we have another player from the jewelry sector in US now joining us. Shaheer Hosh is from Cristino Fine Jewelry. Shaheer, thank you so much for being with us. How are you viewing, first of all, the volatile gold prices?
Right, correct. Yeah, it ends up at the end, what are, the cost of making the actual piece of jewelry. That's, yeah, gold is high now, but a lot of people going now from 18 karat down to 14 and, or from 14 to lighter pieces of jewelry so they can afford it. And now from natural diamonds now to lab grown diamonds. That's I see the new trend.
From 18 carats to 14 carats and lower as the gold prices continue to go higher. But in sense of sales, in sense of numbers, what are you looking at in sense of jewelry sales from here on?
Yes, the thing is, I'm a high-end jewelry store in a very wealthy town in US. So I haven't seen decline in my numbers. Actually, there is increase. The rich is getting richer there, and the economy, they're not really affected that much with the economy. Thank God for my business. So yeah. So the reason I came here, I'm just looking for the cost effective, the better prices of making the pieces, or I see the new the manufacturing of jewelry here in India has gone a long way. They're really great finishes now, great quality, what I've seen so far.
All right, that's interesting, Shaheer. As you say, the high gold prices do not bother the high net individuals, but the making charges is something that you're working with fine here. Do tell us about on how are you looking at a big divergence, because a lot of people are looking at lower carriage, but your clientele is absolutely fine with the current prices of gold and diamonds.
It is definitely makes a huge difference. I see the now between the natural diamond and the lab-grown diamond, for my clients, it's hard to convince to move them from natural to lab-grown. But I've seen now a little increase little by little for just the fashion pieces, I think they wouldn't mind it. But for the main pieces, engagement rings, wedding bands, things like that, they still want the natural diamonds.
Shaheer, how is your market when, as you said, you have higher area, higher category that you're servicing with? I'm assuming most of that is going to be natural diamonds, but the lab-grown diamonds also seems to be stabilizing and increasing as an alternate market. Would you say that the lab-growns and natural diamonds could coexist and find its own buyers?
I believe so. I believe so. They just need to convince the clients the right way or say the right words so you can sell the lab grown. Many of them, and the first they don't want to deal with it or you don't want to buy it. But when you explain what's a lab grown is exactly like natural diamonds, the same brilliance, the same characteristics. So they you know um, they're convinced. I've convinced many customers to do that. Especially I try to sell the natural first, and if I see they don't want to spend the money, then I can ship them to try to sell them a lab grown. So definitely the both would be sold, side to side.
Shaheer, it would be very interesting to know that within your portfolio, with the kind of clientele that you have, what really is the percentage of naturals and lab-growns?
Oh, because I just started, so I would say 95% natural, maybe 5% lab. I just started in it just 4 months ago, and the volume of natural, obviously, I do much more than lab. But the profits on the lab grown obviously are much more than natural. So hopefully, I can increase that business in lab grown.
All right, that's an interesting conversation, Shaheer. Thank you so much for joining us with that sense of that the US markets are doing quite well. The cartridges may have gone down, but the spend on jewelry is still much higher. With that, we are heading into a short break, but don't go anywhere. A discussion with Phillips S. Baker of Hecla Mining when we return.